It's on, you guys. We've got so many details about Galaxy's Edge. Disney just did a huge info drop, and we can't wait to tell you all about it. Let's win Disney Parks. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we are heading over to Galaxy's Edge, both in Disneyland and Disney World today. We've got so much more information, so many more details than we've ever had before as of a giant info drop that Disney did just a couple of days ago. So we're going to walk you through, give you the bullet points so you know exactly what to expect when you head to Galaxy's Edge this summer or this fall, depending on which coast you're on. Let's get started. So first, a little background. The timeline for Galaxy's Edge and Black Spire Outpost is set between the events of The Last Jedi and the upcoming Star Wars 9 film. Now, that land has an ongoing story that will be able to adapt and evolve with future Star Wars stories, but currently, the backstory is being developed in novels and comic books. So you can actually buy novels and comic books that talk about Batuu and Black Spire Outpost. Disney has said there are layers and layers of history and all of these other characters, familiar and new, who have come and gone to this planet. So you could basically see anybody from any Star Wars film coming into Batuu and into Black Spire Outpost. Just be prepared and be ready to see just about any character. Now, what should we talk about first? How about the rides? 2 brand new rides are going to come into Galaxy's Edge: Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. Now, I think personally, Rise of the Resistance is going to be probably one of the most epic rides Disney has ever created. So let's talk about that first. This is going to be Disney's longest attraction ever created, and it's actually sort of 4 rides in one. So you're not going to just sort of wait in line, go to a pre-show, jump on one ride, get off, and go to the gift shop, right? You're going to actually have a full experience. So you're going to find Rise of the Resistance in a wooded area near Black Spire Outpost. So it's actually kind of separated a little bit and off on its own. In this location, the Resistance is hiding out in a military outpost to avoid detection by the First Order. Now, as you enter the queue, you'll explore gun turrets, rock tunnels, and locker rooms filled with flight suits. You eventually get to a pre-show, which features a holographic Rey accompanied by BB-8, asking guests to help them with a mission to battle the First Order. So your first sort of ride or attraction in Rise of the Resistance will be traveling with Resistance pilot Poe Dameron. Once you accept that mission, you'll pass a giant X-Wing to board a transport ship being piloted by Nien Nunb. And as the ship takes off, you can actually feel the floor shaking underneath you. Now, here's where things get dicey. The ship is soon captured by a Star Destroyer. It's in its tractor beam, and guests are greeted as the doors open by 50 stormtroopers, all in formation. First Order officers separate the guests into smaller groups. They're escorted to a jail cell, and Kylo Ren steps in to interrogate. Now it's your job to figure out how to escape. And that's only 1/3 of the ride. So at this point, you're going to be walking the halls of a Star Destroyer. You're actually walking around in this quote-unquote ride or attraction. And then later on, there will be a trackless dark ride. And we know Disney's been working a lot on their trackless technology, but there aren't that many trackless rides right now. So this will be really, really cool to see in development in Disneyland and Disney World. All right, so heading over to Smuggler's Run. Now, as we know, guests will be able to fulfill the roles of pilot, flight engineer, or gunner to take control of the Millennium Falcon to transport contraband cargo. So, spoiler alert, you're the smuggler. You start at a spaceport on Black Spire Outpost. The 110-foot Falcon will spool up its engines and vent thrust gases, quote unquote, while docked at a spaceship maintenance bay. The ride's queue line is going to deliver guests into Omnaka Transport Solutions. Next, you get your mission from the audio animatronic Hondo Ohnaka, who, by the way, is a very sassy space pirate. This will feature some of that incredible animatronic technology we've been seeing with the Beauty and the Beast ride in Tokyo Disney. Guests then enter the main hold of the ship, where they can play hologram chess and take photos while waiting for a flight crew assignment. So you see how Disney's sort of having multiple pre-shows and giving you things to do while you wait in that queue. Finally, you get to step inside the Millennium Falcon. 6 riders will create 3 rows, pilots in the front, gunners in the middle, and flight engineers in the last row. Activation of those cockpit buttons, switches, and levers will create sounds, and you'll see lights, etc. So this is a lot like Mission Space in concept. Next, you and your crew work together as a team to fly the Millennium Falcon during a space battle with the First Order TIE fighters. So here's where it's different from Mission Space in concept, is you can actually fail at this particular mission. So Mission Space, everyone wins. It gets a little dicey there for a second, but you do land on Mars. But when you're flying the Millennium Falcon, you can fail your mission, and then for the rest of your time in Galaxy's Edge, you may be asked about that failed mission while you're wandering around. So again, Disney's bringing this into a full-on experience versus just a ride or attraction. So now let's go and talk about the food. You might be hungry after you fly that Millennium Falcon, right? So Disney actually announced quite a bit of information about the food, about specific menus, and many, many other details. So what we know right now is that there will be 4 locations to get food. The first is Bay 7 and Cargo. This is a counter service location run by proprietor chef Strono Cookie Tugs, and this is going to give a very Satu'li canteen feel. They're going to have oven roasted burra fish, smoked kadu ribs, fried andori and tip yip, which by the way tastes a lot like fried chicken. And then there will be 2 desserts, same as what they have at Satu'li Canteen. You will have raspberry cream puff or chocolate cake at this particular location. So there will be several non-alcoholic drinks that include the fatro and moof juice. So there's lots of options here, but it is going to be a counter service location a lot like Satu'li. Next up, Rontoe Roasters is sort of a sandwich stand serving up the Rontoe wrap. Now this is going to be a kiosk for all intents and purposes, but there's a lot of show elements to it, so it's going to feel a little bit more like a counter service location. The wrap will be filled with spiced grilled sausage and roasted pork, and also look for turkey jerky here. Again, kiosk, but lots of show elements, so might actually feel a little bit more substantial than a regular old kiosk. Next up, Olgas Cantina. We've known about Olgas Cantina for a long time. This is going to be a bar and lounge, basically, but it will be sort of table service as well. It's not technically table service, but you will kind of order and be served. Olgas is known as a safe haven for smugglers and patrons hoping to avoid authorities on Black Spire Outpost. It has a well-established reputation for its concoctions, featuring, quote, exotic ingredients using otherworldly methods served in unique vessels. So remember, this is the first time that cocktails and alcohol are going to be served in Disneyland Park, except for Club 33, which is an incredibly exclusive members-only club. So the kinds of things you're going to find here: the non-alcoholic Carbon Freeze, Olga's Obsession, and Cliff Dweller. Also look for Mugen Tea, Blue Bantha, of course, Bloody Rancor, and the Black Spire Brew, the Outer Rim, Bespin Fizz, Yub Nub, and the Fuzzy Tauntaun. Next, we'll also see sort of a milk stand. This one will have both blue and green milk, but note, non-dairy blue milk is quote-unquote not actually milk. If you're walking around Florida in the middle of August, the last thing you want is a heated glass of milk, so this is actually sort of a soft frozen milkshake. And then the green milk is going to have a few more citrusy flavors to it. And then the last thing we're going to expect is Katsaka's Kettle to serve different kinds of popcorn, so you're going to find sweet, spicy, and salty varieties here. So as of right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a honest-to-goodness table service restaurant in Galaxy's Edge, but of course, that can always change. Next up, let's talk about the merchandise we'll find on Galaxy's Edge. So we'll start off in Bina's Creature Stall, where you can pick up a new pet to accompany your journey through the galaxy. Note that there will be large animatronic creatures all around the shop in cages and aquariums, and they of course will interact with guests. Next up is Mubo's Droid Depot, where you can create your own droid in an assembly line style format. You can build your droid, give it personality, and you can choose from the R unit like R2-D2 or a BB unit like BB-8. So these droids are about the size of a toaster, but large droids will be cruising around the shop as well. Next up, over at Toydarian Toy Shop, you'll find toys with a homemade feel, so they're almost sort of one of a kind in sort of how they look. Now, if you're looking to buy some Jedi and Sith artifacts, head over to Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. You can purchase all kinds of Kyber crystal-powered goodies like holocron cubes, plus you can even build your own super high-end lightsaber. Now, this is totally different from the plastic toy sabers we're used to. Prices for these sabers start around $150. And there will also be plenty of clothing for sale, including costume items from both the First Order and the Resistance, as well as your more typical theme park attire. Now, speaking of costumes, I want to talk about the cast member uniforms. We got a quick peek at these. There's 4 different tops, 5 different bottoms that can be mixed and matched in 20 different combinations, including tunics, jackets, coats, accessories, hats, scarves, and more. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about the technology, the interactive technology coming to Galaxy's Edge. Now, this is mostly going to happen through your Play Disney Parks app. So if you're headed to Galaxy's Edge, be sure to download that Play Disney Parks app before you get there. So basically, when you head into Galaxy's Edge, your Play Disney Parks app will transform into a Star Wars data pad. So these data pads are going to first help us translate the Star Wars language of Arabesh into English. So you'll be able to translate signs, labels, and even listen to characters' conversations and translate those with the help of the translate function. So it sounds a lot like Google Translate, basically. Your datapad will also help you to solve puzzles and unlock a translation key. This you're going to see in the queue for Millennium Falcon and Rise of the Resistance. Now, this translation key will help you translate the signs in the queue and give you some information on upcoming missions. Now, this one is super fun. So the First Order installed a surveillance system all around Galaxy's Edge, and you can use your datapad to hack into these surveillance boxes. Now, if you want to help the First Order, you can enable the surveillance boxes. If you want to help the Resistance, you can disable the surveillance box. So that's your job as you head around, decide which one you want to help out. And you're also even able to accept other jobs through the app, like one that might include transmitting the schematic for a First Order ship for Hondo Ohnaka, who runs the Millennium Falcon Smuggling Run ride. So players will gain points and rewards in the app while they're in Galaxy's Edge, and you can play both alone and in a group. Plus, you're able to complete activities and missions over multiple trips to Galaxy's Edge. So that's going to be super cool to see how that is incorporated. So there's a ton of information that we just got from Disney a couple of days ago. I wanted to share it with you. I know we're getting super excited for that opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, probably in June in Disneyland and in fall in Walt Disney World. So let us know in the comments, are you guys headed to Galaxy's Edge? Are you excited about it? Are you worried about it? Do you think it's going to be insanely crowded? Or are you scheduling your trip to be there for sure? Let us know in the comments what you guys think and what you hope will be at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.